소잘 버리셔도 좋습니다. 양이
Joseon was a Korean state founded by Taejo Yi Songye that lasted for about 5 centuries, from July 1392 to October 1987. It was founded following the aftermath of the overthrow of the Goryeo dynasty in what is today known as the city of Kaesong. Early on, Korea was retitled and the capital was relocated to modern-day Seoul. The kingdom's northernmost borders were expanded to the natural boundaries at the Amnok and Duman rivers through the subjugation of the Jurchens. Joseon was the last dynasty of Korean history and, fun fact, the longest ruling dynasty.
Let's get started. Joseon, which is also known as the Yu Dynasty, was from 1392 to 1910, and it massively imported and adopted Chinese culture. Yi Songye, also known as King Taejo, ruled from 1392 to 1398, and he died sadly at 1408. What he did was he moved the capital to Hanyang, which is now Seoul, in 1394. He also established relationship with Ming China.
The rise of the Joseon dynasty was a simple one. Basically, the end of one dynasty is the beginning of a newer and better improved one. The last one lived a great long life with actually a lot of traditions that are still used today in Korean culture. About 1932, it was time to move on. The first king of the Joseon dynasty was the dethroner of the last king of the Goryeo. The Joseon kingdom had a great civilization with a lot of unique art, agriculture, events, leaders, and economy. Some might say that the greatest thing that the Joseon dynasty had left us was the alphabet. The world today learns a lot from this ancient colony, but some might say the greatest thing that the dynasty has left us behind for us is Confucianism, which, if you don't know, it is a system of philosophical and ethical teachings that are founded by Confucius and developed by Mencius. The dynasty was the longest living under Confucian rule. The Joseon dynasty all began around 14th century at the fall of the Goryeo dynasty. At about 1388, the 400-year-old Goryeo dynasty was crumbling at the king's feet. The government was falling apart and buildings literally crumbled after years and years of war. Following the Ming dynasty, the royal court of Goryeo split into two sides that were led by General Yi, who supported the Ming dynasty, and General Cho, who supported the Yuan dynasty. Through a couple of invasions, General Yi overthrew King Gongyang and expelled him. Yi, who was then known by the name of King Taejo, then decided to change the name of the dynasty in order to renew and rebuild the ancient Korean cultures. The Joseon dynasty was made public and born in July of 1932. The Joseon dynasty was honestly a very peaceful one, with a Confucian monarchy that was teaching morals and lessons that were to be passed down into the present. The Joseon dynasty took reign of all of Korea, which was apparently really difficult for previous dynasties. It saw the real start of paintings in Korean art. Many artists then became some of the most memorable ones of Korea, such as Jongsun, Yoon Do-soo, Jang Song-up, etc., etc. Inventors such as Jong Il-shil could finally share their ideas with the world, which was thanks to the king's policy that allowed lower class citizens to work for the government. He also invented things such as the first bulletproof vest, the odometer, and an automatic water clock. The Joseon dynasty was also the first to use the turtle boat. It was basically a dragon boat with an iron roof to keep its passengers safe. To this day, Korea is still ahead of the rest of the world when it comes to cosmetics, skincare products, and of course, technology. Confucianism was used in government. This meant that the less the king did, the more gets done. Confucian government meant that the king was titled to the calm center, that the kingdom was around. The king's job was to interfere as little as possible with things that were going on in the dynasty. Confucianism was a really peaceful practice, although it meant the fall of Buddhism in Korea. The Confucius idea was really laid back and was only a problem in case of war. This was a great practice, and honestly, I think that the rest of the world should look back to this when dealing with a situation that regards a lot of people. In conclusion, the Joseon dynasty has a lot to offer modern-day society. Confucianism is a very well-known system today, and it's still very used often. Temples still exist all over the world. Inventions such as the bulletproof vest and the armored boat are all very helpful in today's society. The ideas, lessons, inventions, and morals that were used in the Joseon dynasty were and still are some of the most important life tools that are used every single day. The world can learn a lot from the Joseon dynasty, things that could not be learned anywhere else. So now I hope you understand why this is one of my favorite dynasties.
Joseon was one of the most scientifically advanced civilizations in the world.
Do you guys see this? This is not even a real hat. It's like a Chapman's ice cream thing. Do you see it? I'm so cheap. And look at this. Joseon, also known as the Yu Dynasty. Oh my